to all our participants. Mr. Irshad Ahmed, Mansi from Pune, thanks for joining in again. Ishan and Mr. Arun, uh, very warm welcome, and we are expecting a few more to join in as the talk goes on. So today, it being a new year, we thought that Dr. Azim would tell us more on New Year resolutions, and that was his idea as to how to uh, make people more, for make them achieve or follow the New Year resolutions. Everybody tries to keep them, but in the end, it doesn't happen. So, how can a professional counselor help us? We all know Dr. Azim very well, so I won't go into the nitty gritties of introducing him. He's already well known to all of us, and we're all regular uh, listeners to him on this chat. So now I'll over to Dr. Azim to for today's session. So if any of
Yeah,
you have questions, you can private message me or Ishraq, and we can take the question on your behalf. Or if you want in the middle, like you can always ask, you can unmute, or you can ask us to unmute you, and we can you can ask your question directly if you feel like. So it's a very interactive session. So please be free to ask your questions whenever you feel like. Thank you very much. Over to Dr. Z.
How are you doing,
uh,
Stevie?
I'm doing good. I'm doing good. Yeah, thank you.
Yeah, nice to
Thank,
see you.
yeah, same here.
Yes.
Same here. Nice to hear from you. Sorry. Yeah.
It's okay. I told you long
Yeah.
back you can see better than all of us. Remember when you used to come to Banjara? You were able to see better than all of us.
True.
Yes.
Now, so thank you, Dr. Ashi. Thank you, Ishraq. And a very happy new year to all the participants. Um, I'm glad. Thank you for joining in. Now, on to resolutions. If you break up resolutions, it just means resolutions. And when we try to do something and we fail, we try to make a resolution saying, this is a resolution to what we plan to do next year. Now, identifying now here, I might mind you, I'd like to mention that it will not be in point form because that makes it boring. I will be talking, and you can get whatever you derive out of it will surely help you. So, resolutions we make. First of all, we need to identify what is it that we want to achieve in the forthcoming year. There are things that you want but you may not achieve. So mind you, so form your resolution, then make sure it's achievable. Now, not something that is not that is impossible to achieve. There's no point trying to make it as a resolution. So identifying the agenda is important. And when you think of the item, the resolution, you have to think big. You have to think big. You have to dream big. You have to think macroscopically. Thinking big, the one of the biggest thinkers and dreamers was Walt Disney, and he made his dream happen. He made his thoughts happen, and we can imbibe a lot from Walt Disney, and that you can do your research later. So thinking big is important. When you think big and we want to do big, it doesn't work out because nothing works big. Everything works in baby steps. So from thinking big, we go on to the baby steps. Uh, just a minute. Can you unmute me for a second? Mute me for a second. Shak?
You're muted.
Hello? Hello?
Yeah, you're unmuted.
Okay.
You're unmuted, but your camera is in upside down.
Oh, not right. Let me just put it back. How does that sound? Is that okay?
Yeah. Uh,
Now?
yeah, it's perfect.
Okay. So the second point is chunk it down. The third point is? Okay. Okay. So are we ready?
Yes, you can continue.
Okay. So when we are thinking big and we want to achieve something, we have to chunk down the entire entire resolution into baby steps, into doable items, into doable actions, because nothing is possible in a big way, but when you take baby steps and achieving is possible. When you take baby steps, the beauty is that it doesn't seem so difficult. Even the most difficult tasks seems to be very easy to do. And so that's important, is to think big and take baby steps. Now, when you look at when you go on from baby steps, mind you that uh, the way we look at the resolutions, look at the resolutions in a way that it's a part of you. You have to make it a part of you, right? From there, we go to the third step, and the third step would be uh, Shrak.
Understand why you want to make the change.
And so we have to understand why we need to make the change. Now we have certain actions ingrained in us, like smoking, drinking, and a lot of things we want to change. So we need to understand why we need to make the change, because not everything is easy. Giving up smoking is not easy. It's not possible for many of the smokers until they give it up. Leaving alcohol or leaving alcohol abuse is not even a part of a person until a person is compelled to leave it. So you must understand what is holding you onto the old behavior. It boils down to your behaviors. How do you change your behavior? Now, if you want to stick on to the old objects, if you want to call to the old behaviors, it's practically a change is not possible. You have to redo things. You undo the old behavior, and you do the new. You incorporate the new behavior by taking baby steps. So you look at the goal, you break it down, and then you look at what is holding on to the change. And once you identify what is holding you onto this, want to not making the change, you should start by taking baby steps and making the change. You can voice in your resolutions, and we can talk it through after this. I'll make it quick.
I'll
What's the
just,
third point?
sorry to interrupt you, but just to add to what you were saying, a lot of people bring in the new year by, drinking a lot of alcohol. And then the next day they say
Yeah,
that we're going to stop drinking alcohol. So
right.
that doesn't work. It's not just
No.
a period of one day that you would make a resolution. The resolution has to be made sustained over a period of time. So that would
Yeah,
be more realistically better. Like if you plan your New Year resolution in the first week of December or 3-4 months in advance, and
yeah,
slowly and steadily try and reduce your alcohol intake. As you said, it's impossible to stop in one shot. So that doesn't happen
yeah.
if you're a compulsive
Now
drinker
coming
and
up,
you,
yeah,
so it's always better
talking.
that it is
Right.
done over a sustained period of time, and it is not a knee-jerk reaction as in, oh, today's 31st December, so from tomorrow I'll stop drinking, I'll stop smoking. That
Yeah,
doesn't happen. So the goals need to be realistic. Please carry on. Thank you.
yeah. Now, when we make resolutions, sometimes we make it because of friends. Now, they make a resolution and you copycat them, not knowing what you really want. So, here you have to understand that you make a resolution for what you really want in life. You want to stop drinking, you want to stop smoking, you want to have a healthier life. Yeah, that's a very good resolution. because lifestyles today are so bad, because eating habits have changed. So if your resolution is to make a healthier lifestyle, then a lot of components come into the picture, right? So yeah, Ishraq.
So after that, it's commitment,
Now
committing
we
to
have to
yourself.
make a commitment. Yeah, committing to yourself. We need to make a commitment to ourselves. Now, here when you talk about commitments, you first say to yourself, no doubt, and it does happen, but not always. There are times when we need to voice it out in front of others, because when you voice it in front of others, especially a known person, a person whom you look up to, then you are forced to change. You're forced to make your resolutions come true, just because you don't want, probably because you don't want to let him down, or probably because you like him so much that you can't hurt his feelings. So it's always nice to make commitments that are doable, not undoable commitments. Mind you, you have to make commitments that you can do and you can complete. And when you talk about commitments in front of others or for yourself, please do not lie to yourself, because lying is not going to get you anywhere. When you make resolutions, it's always good to be truthful to yourself, because somewhere down the line, when you introspect, you'll need to look at the entire resolution and where you are heading, and make amendments. Sometimes changes are necessary. Don't be taken aback, or don't be discouraged when things are not going perfectly well. Nothing is perfectly going to go on perfectly well until you try to make it. And perfection is not even needed, because perfection is something that we all strive for, but no use, because it's better to complete the walk than to run it, because you run it and you end up getting tired. But point is to do it, to complete it by the end of the next year, not in the first month, not in the second month. No, but if you do it by the second or third month, maybe it's a shoddy job. But if you complete the resolutions by the end of the year, you know you have taken your time. Slow and steady wins the race. Ishraq?
Then the next point is give yourself a medal.
Yeah. So what we all need medals. We all need something to thank ourselves, right? We all need for people to recognize us. And when we achieve things, we all need a thank you, a little thank you to ourselves. We should know that we should feel encouraged to move on. And when we have done something good, we have maybe if you divide a resolution into quarterly basis, and you realize at the end of 3 months you have reached a certain point, you should pride yourself, because really you deserve it, because you have made the attempt and you are going forward. If you do not pride yourself, and if you do not ask others to even encourage, thank you, you feel let down by others, you feel letting yourself down. So it's not a very good thought to not even recognize what you're doing. It's important to recognize it. Next.
Learn from the past.
Now, when we see, the past is something that has a lot to learn from. The past has something we all have to learn from, because there are mistakes committed in the past, and we don't move further if you can't learn from the past, because you take bits and pieces from the past to make a better future. A future is never done by its own. It's always from the past. The learnings, the mistakes, because mistakes are made to learn actually. Mistakes are very important, because we know what went wrong, and we can identify what went wrong and then make it right. So mistakes are important. Learn from the past to make a brighter future. Next.
Give thanks for what you do.
Yeah. So when you give thanks for what you do, whether others thank you or not, you have thanked yourself. When you thank yourself, you feel that yes, you deserved it. You have done well. And you see, we need to make milestones. You need to create milestones, and every time you reach a milestone, a certain point, you thank yourself. So let's say assume that resolution is you divided into quarterly basis, 3 months, and at the end of 3 months you've accomplished something in making the resolutions, and you reached a certain point where you feel that you deserve to be thanked. You should thank yourself, because if you don't thank yourself now, you'll never do it tomorrow, you'll never do it again. So yeah, thank yourself. Next.
These were the points.
Yeah. So
I
now
mean, just to recap,
it's easy.
all these
Yeah.
points, I'll just go in order of them. So the first one is think big. The second one is chunk down your goals. The third one is understand the why behind the change. The fourth one is commit to yourself. The fifth one is congratulate yourself or give yourself a medal. The sixth point is learn from your past. And the last one is give thanks for what you do.
Now, when you come to something very important about the word resolutions or resolving or resolutions is treat it as a goal. Often the word resolutions you give up with this in the month's time, in a week's time, in 2 months' time, in 3 months' time. Very few people, really 50% of the American population actually go beyond 3 months. And very few people in the world really work on resolutions. They want to stop drinking, and they by the fifth month, 6 month, they get tired, and they start again. A lot of people. That's just because you have not reviewed the past. You have not thanked yourself. Had you thanked yourself, had you reviewed the past, you probably go on for another few months. Then you thank yourself. You reviewed the past and say, I have made 9 months without alcohol, 3 more months to go, right? So always review the past. Always thank yourself. Yeah. Uh, Ishraq, any questions?
I'm just checking up. So what's the difference between a resolution and having a vision?
Have a vision. Having a vision is bigger, is much bigger, right? And you need to make resolutions that adds up to to completing the vision. Now you may not be able to make the vision come true at one shot. You will need to do it in installments, because it's not easy to do it at one shot. But you make baby resolutions, small resolutions, over a period of a couple of years. But thinking big will happen. But if you don't start, you will never finish.
True. Now, the next thing is resolutions are usually linked to habits, right? When you
Yeah.
say that, okay, I want to make a New Year resolution, I'm going to stop this, I'm going to start this, I'm going to do X, Y, and Z. How do you link that to your goals over a period of time? Like you mentioned that it has to be for a year.
See, yeah. So now you have a habit. For example, you smoke. You have a smoking habit, and your goal is to, let's say, reduce smoking. Now, when you say reduce smoking, it is better. But when you say I want to stop smoking, now you smoking maybe 20 sticks a day. Let's, for example. And the very fear of stopping 20 would never allow you to go a step further. But if you say by 6 months I want to cut down to six, now that's more realistic. It's a very realistic goal, right? And then when you achieve 6 months, you review how tough it was, how easy it was, and you learn from the past that these things and it made me help me to stop, like drinking water and a little fitness here and there, a lot of fitness actually. So, and also maybe substitutes for smoking, for example, chewing gums or other things that would help you to curb the smoking habit. And by the ninth month, you realize that you have come a lot far away from the initial stage. And reviewing again is important. Giving yourself positive strokes is important. remain overall positive is very important in your resolutions, because only when in a positive frame of mind can you attain a resolution. If you don't, if you're not positive, then you probably be scared of these resolutions. So this is how it goes.
Just to add, is it helpful, like you always mention, whenever you have something to do ahead of you, or when you to make a pros and cons list? So do you think making a pros and cons list would be helpful in this case? I mean, as a New Year resolution, and
Absolutely, absolutely.
keeping it written in
Yeah.
front of you where you can see it, would it be helpful?
Very much so, very much so. Because, for example, when you wake up every morning and you see what you have to do. Now, we need to take baby steps. For example, I have a pros and cons list that will help you to look at the pros. Because sometimes it's good to know the cons. It's good to know what are the disadvantages, and to flow in with the advantages. Right. So pros and cons important. Writing it down and keeping it. Let's assume on the cupboard where you wake up, and the moment you see that, you know what your resolutions. Let's say you have three resolutions for the year, and you write them and keep them. Every time you look at the resolutions, you are reminded. There is a constant reminder. You have to do this. You must do this. This is waiting. This has to be done, and that really helps. Really helps a lot. Yeah.
So I have a question. I mean, this is my question. Like, when you say understand the why behind the change,
Yeah.
how what is the process you recommend to actually come up with the why? You know, because I mean, resolutions or decisions which are made in a split second, that okay, I'm going to stop this. They never
Yeah.
actually, you never take the time out to think why and all that. So there has
Yeah.
to be a process or a framework behind coming up with the big why, which is going to benefit at the end of the goal.
See, the why in a change is because we are stuck to the old habits. We are very much stuck. And why are you stuck to the old habits? Again, smoking or drinking. Let's take drinking for this time, or even gambling for this time. Yeah, let's take gambling, right? Now,
Hmm.
why you addicted to gambling? Are you getting sheer thrill out of it? Are you doing it for money? Are you doing it because of depression, that you just are so frustrated that you're taking it out on the roulette table? So the why is very important in determining what you have to do next. Because until you identify the faulty behavior, you will not do the corrective measures. Right? Yeah,
Hmm.
sure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I mean, kind of like a framework or a process
Hmm.
for determining what your why is.
So
You
when
you spoke about three habits like smoking, drinking, gambling, but
yeah,
there are so many other things, right,
yeah,
in
true.
life. Like for example,
So many other things.
if you know someone's not reading and you want to read like a couple of books a year
Yeah.
and get into that particular habit, or they want to get
Hmm.
into the habit of building a healthier lifestyle by going to the gym regularly or eating healthy, right,
Yeah.
or you know, like for example in their career they want to upgrade or move to the next level. So
Hmm.
for each of them there is a separate why, right?
Yeah.
Now,
Right.
how does someone actually take the time off, or what is the process where they actually go back? What I
It's
understand is you
interest.
have to go
Yeah.
internal and look at what you want deep down inside, but there has to be a process. And with the busy
Great.
in a busy world
Hmm.
where you don't get time to even think about yourself, how do you actually take the time off and do it?
Interest based, sir. You have to look at where your interests are and what you want to accomplish. If you identify your interests, number one, identifying interests is important. Looking backwards, where you failed is important, because failing is where you stopped, and failure is the root to success. So you stopped making that behavior, you stopped, or you lost interest. Why did you lose interest? Because those factors have to be dealt with to make you go further, right? Once those factors are dealt with, then you will bounce up. But you have to make sure that your interests are in line with what you want to do. Because if you're not interested, then you will not go anywhere because you will lack the basic motivation to go further.
Okay, so the bottom line is your interest, your passion, your values, they
Yeah.
they
Yeah.
determine what the why is, and then you put in the goals
Even
to
the,
achieve.
even the even the values and morals shape your goals. They shape them because sometimes certain values can interfere. So mind you, that has to be well constructed because you shouldn't be doing something that you don't want to be doing, but you're doing it out of pressure. So external pressure also can make you create faulty goals which you will fail, and then you will get demoralized. So when you construct your goal, mind you, keep your morals in line, keep your values in line. The goal should be worth attaining. Should be able to make a difference in your lifestyle, in the way you do things. And everyone has goals. Everyone wants to achieve. How many achieve it? Because not many people go beyond the first or second month. Very few people reach 6 months. 9 months is like a handful. It's only because they have not been able to make realistic goals. I mean, you can't say I want to fly to the moon. No, no, this it's not very realistic unless you have the financial resources and you can do that. Yes, so you have to look at all the factors, the political factors, the economic factors, the social factors, the technological factors when you construct your resolution, because these factors help you to go further. Yeah.
Right,
Great.
Dr. Dr. Azim, just to add to that, I mean, there's a small query. Uh, should these new resolutions be shared with your immediate family members and friends, or should you just keep
Absolutely.
it to yourself and just go about it by
No,
yourself? Or you think it will be
no,
a
no,
positive
no.
way of reinforcing the resolution because it will
Yeah,
involve
yeah.
your family and
Very
friends?
good. The If you share your resolutions with your close ones and with your family and close ones, with your friends also, you get inputs from everybody. Number one, you also get encouragement from people to make you go on. There are times when you feel stuck, and your immediate ones can get bail you out of that if you're stuck. So resolutions, it's good if it's shared because you cannot do it yourself. You need help. You need people to help you do it, right? You cannot do it everything on your own. You need some help, and especially when times when you're at crossroads and you might have given up the resolution had someone not intervened and said no, you can do it, given a pat on your shoulder and said yes, you have done so well so far, and it's only a little more ahead, just a little more, you can do it. And we all need external help. We should not ignore it. Yeah.
And are you supposed to be very tough on yourself to meet these goals, or is a little leeway allowed, or can you procrastinate and say that, yeah,
No,
okay, fine?
procrastinate. See, if you're tough, you achieve. If you're easy on yourself, then you tend to push it like procrastination, push it further. And then one year becomes two, three, four, and the goal fades away. The resolution fades away. So you have to be hard. It's not, maybe not so hard, but you should never sacrifice anything. No, your goal should not be it should be no, your resolutions should not be a sacrifice, mind you, because that would lead to guilt, and guilt is an emotion that you cannot deal with. It's very hard. So make it something that you're doing for yourself. Be selfish for a while, for a change. Do
Right,
something for yourself. Yeah.
right. Can we now open the questions to, since this is an open forum, and if anyone wants to ask any question from Dr. Zim directly, that we can take that as well. Ishraq, any questions on private chat to you?
So one question is, what do we do when we fall back on our goals, or how do
Uh,
we manage it?
Falling back is important because failure leads to success. If you fall back on your goals, identify it. Please identify it, why you're falling back. Look at those factors and overcome it. It's like hurdles, overcome the hurdles. And when you fall back on see, there is no time frame. There is no time frame. You can do it. It's a matter of perseverance. It's a matter of believing yourself in yourself that you can actually do it. And where there is a will, there is a way. You can. That is, you see, the inner strength is so powerful that it can overcome all the challenges. And if you give yourself the right affirmations, oh boy, you'll overcome anything. Yeah, you'll do it. You need to affirm to yourself affirmations. It's very important. I can do it. I will do it. That's what makes you go further and further. Does it answer your question? Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
So we have a question from Mr. Arun. Do affirmations work?
Absolutely. Affirmations work to a very, very large extent, because when you cannot do something, then affirmations will help you do it. If you are in a position where you need to get a little more energy to do a lot more, that affirmations will give you that energy to go on and on. Affirmations will help you believe in yourself. There are no affirmations, you don't take that turbo boost to go further.
Okay. Mr. Arun also asks because he watched the movie The Secret, where they talk
Yeah,
about affirmations and all that, and he's asking
yeah.
you, what's your take on that? He got irritated by it, so he's asking your take
No,
on
no,
it.
Mr. Arun, the secret is a very, very realistic approach, and we have to do. Affirmations are a lot. Have a lot to do in our lives, but how a person puts it to you also matters. Maybe it was put in the wrong way to you, and you took it the wrong way, and so they got irritated, right? So contact me, and I will help you with the affirmations, because and help you to go on. So don't get demotivated or irritated. On the contrary, let me know. Give me a ping, and I'll help you with it.
I mean, when we look at The Secret, right? So, I mean, I feel that it's actually only half the story, because a lot of times when you watch such a movie or you read a book and you believe that, okay, if I think about it, it will happen,
Yeah.
without actually doing the work. That's the
Mm.
misconception people come into, that they just think about it and they hope that, okay, it's going to happen, without
No,
actually
no,
taking the
no, no.
action to
Yeah.
to do it.
No, nothing is going to happen on its own. Nothing is magical. You have to make it happen. But when you think of it, think big, and you want it, you'll get it. Think big, chunk it down, you go for it. Yeah.
It kind of reminds me of an old TV serial which used to come on Doordarshan very long back. Mungeri Lal ke Haseen Sapne. He played.
Ha ha.
So
Keep your sapne going on, and you will enjoy. And those Haseen sapnes are what makes you form your resolutions, and then you
correct.
go ahead getting, yeah, those Haseen sapnes. Yeah. Any more questions from the crowd?
So
Not
when you
exactly.
say learn from your past,
Yeah.
a lot of times people actually get stuck in the past, that it does happen to me and I'm not
Uh,
able to overcome it. So what's your take on
See,
it?
look at the past. Don't get involved in it. Look at the past. Study what went wrong. Don't dwell in the past. It's only just look at it, take a peek and come back. Look at your past. Look at where you got stuck, and come back. You don't have to linger around in the past and then get into the doldrums and depression and everything. Take a look and come back. Take a look with an object of making the future better, right? You must have an objective of making the future better before you look into the past, right? Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So when you know you want to go further and you have a hiccup, you look at the past to see if you have had that hiccup before and what you do to overcome it. Maybe you learn from it. Why did you have the hiccup? You learn from it. And then you go further. But don't dwell in the past. It's useless. And crying for pity is just pathetic. No, no, one should really move forwards. It's not going to help you to live in the past, right?
Mm-hmm.
The past is just for learning, and it's just to make future a better place for us.
Yeah.
If there was just no past, there would be no future because future depends a lot on the past.
Yeah, I mean, we are a product of the circumstances which we've gone through in the
Correct.
past, right?
Correct.
And
And if those circumstances had not been there, you would not be what you are today. And that is with everybody. They
mm-hmm.
are a construction of the past. They are made up. They become harder. They become tougher. The past is a good teacher.
True. So we have another question. Is it okay not to have any New Year resolutions since they're not realistic?
Your choice. Absolutely your choice. There's no pressure to form a resolution. It's only when you want to achieve something that, or you can't do something, you make a resolution to get it done. But if you don't want to make a resolution, no one will force you. But when you can't do something, then you make a resolution saying that I will do it. And that's when you get going, right? It's just
Mm-hmm.
to help you achieve something. You can't give up smoking, so you make a resolution to stop smoking. That's how it is.
Yeah. So we have another question. How important is having an accountability partner to your goals?
Uh, you would need someone to check on you because otherwise you will not go further. You will not go further and further because you will not be accountable to anyone, right? So you have someone who is sailing with you, whom you see, it's you for him and him for you, or you for her and her for you. So you have to have someone to help you go further. Others, when you are not accountable, then you'll slowly slacken up and say, "Nah, it's okay. They've reached this far. What's the point?" But when you have someone else, then you're responsible to that person. Somewhere you feel responsible. So you go further. You go further for the person goes further for you, and in the end you both achieve the goals. But if you have no one to talk to and no one to sort of lift you up, then it's not good. It's a little tougher to achieve the goal, to achieve the resolution. Yeah.
Great. So another question is, what? So when we make these resolutions, what is the main? I mean, after the why, what keeps you going? After the 3 or 6 month mark, when you
Where you
actually, when the motivation dies down.
the big picture, the big picture. Remember, the first point was make a big picture, and somewhere and so when you look at the big picture, this is where you want to achieve, right? The
Mm-hmm.
motivation dies down. You look at the big picture. Hey, yeah, I want that. That is there. It's almost mine. A little more and it'll be there. But if you do not have the picture, then you don't know where you're heading towards. And when you don't know where you're heading towards, like a headless chicken running in all directions, right?
Yeah.
So always have a big picture. Always. Oh, beautiful to have a big picture because you think big then. You really think big. Yeah. Think big and
Yeah.
you
So
move
so one
forward.
of the main mistakes is when you think big and you try to keep it realistic, that doesn't happen because thinking big
See, realistic.
becomes unrealistic
No,
because you're trying to
thinking
achieve
big
something
helps
which
you
you
to.
don't have at the moment and you don't know if you're going to get it, but you say, okay, this is what I want.
No, like I said, you make baby steps. No, you think big, but there are baby steps towards achieving it,
Hmm.
right? You have to go to chunk it down into small steps, and they're smaller and they're smaller, so that it doesn't look big. But when you've reached all the steps, like boxes, you tick towards that goal, right? Towards an objective. You will
Mhm.
never accomplish it one shot. You're going to maybe take 30, 40 different steps to achieve the goal, to achieve to the resolution. But if you don't have those 30 different steps, then it's very tough, because if for you, and it looks very big, looks
Mhm.
very big. Come, when you think of steps, oh, VP steps, make it so easy. You don't even realize how big it is. Yeah.
Yeah, great. Ashi, you have any questions on your side?
No, I'm done. Thanks.
Great. So, Dr. Azim, any final closing words?
Final closing words. Uh, Watch when you make your resolutions. Make realistic resolutions. Don't name it resolutions. You call it goals. You call it achievable. Resolutions, generally, the term resolutions itself dies down. But when you think of goals and these, you go further and further. Learn from the past. The past is a great teacher. Learn from the past, go further. When you finished achieving the resolutions, then you know you can do it. And once you do it, then you'll always be able to do it. And when you can't do it, the past again, you think of the past, look into it. Why you did well, and now why are you failing? And the past will teach you. That's all have to say. Any more questions? My number is there. You can always call me up.
So there is one more question. What's the difference between dreams and New Year resolutions? Is making my passion a New Year resolution easier to achieve?
Is making my passion a new year
So there are
resolution
two
to
questions. The first one is, what is the difference between dreams and resolutions, New Year
okay.
resolutions?
Okay. Now the dreams are long term. New resolutions are short term, right? So the dream is a very, very whole thing, whole picture. The resolutions help you to help you to achieve parts of the picture, little until you reach the entire picture. Sometimes your dream will take a couple of years to achieve. So you'll need a couple of years of resolutions, and you achieve your dream. Okay. But a dream immediately cannot be achieved, because a dream is much bigger. It's much bigger, and it involves a lot of things. So resolutions will help you to achieve your dream. That's how it is.
Okay, the second part of the question is making my passion a New Year resolution
Hmm.
easier to achieve?
Yeah, it is, because when you think of resolution as a passion, then the interest level goes much higher. You are more inclined towards achieving it. You love it, so you're fall in love. You're like treating it as part of you, so you achieve much faster, much better, in fact, much better, in fact. Yeah.
Great. So I believe we've come to the close of the session. Uh, Ashi, anything on your side?
No, I'd just like to thank Dr. Azim for his wonderful guidance to all of us, and thanks to all the participants for joining in, and always to you, Ishraq, for helping us coordinate it in a very well way. Uh, a very happy New Year to all of you, and thanks everyone.
Thank you. Thank
Uh,
you, Azim.
Thank you, Stevie, and happy 2021. Get in touch if you all have
Yes,
any issues. Yeah,
done.
get in touch. I'm just a call away. I'm just a call away.
One
Definitely.
last question before we hop off. Should I reward myself if I manage to achieve a New Year resolution?
You should reward yourselves, even if you manage to achieve part of your resolution. If you reach the entire resolution, oh my God, then you should reward yourself in a big way. But even the smallest growth deserves a reward. Reward will make you go further and further. Never deprive yourself of goodies. All these small goodies will help you to achieve.
I'd like to interject that the reward has to be a positive reinforcing behavior.
Absolutely. Why think negative?
No,
Why think
I
negative?
mean, just look at it that okay, if you're moving onto a healthy lifestyle and a healthy diet, right, and you're going
Yeah,
to stop
yeah,
sugar for some time, and say you manage to stop sugar for a month, and then you want to reward yourself. What do you reward
yeah.
yourself with? A cake
So,
or a chocolate or something like that,
no,
right? So that is
no,
negative.
no. You need not reward yourself with a cake or a chocolate. You reward yourself with sugar-free cake or a diabetic chocolate, right? You're still
That's
rewarding yourself.
hmm, true.
Yeah, there are sugar-free cakes, diabetic chocolates, so you can't get away with it, can you? Remember, never look for excuses. Only go forward. Remain positive, and you'll achieve.
Yeah. All right. Thanks a lot, everyone, for
Thank,
joining in. Thank
Thank
you,
you.
Dr. Azim, for the
thank you.
wonderful motivation on New Year's resolutions and sticking on to it. And
No, uh, I would like to make one thing. If those who are listening, I would be talking very likely next month on sarcasm, because sarcasm is something that it really cuts into us, and we get hurt, we get demotivated. So would you all like to hear about sarcasm next time? I
Sure.
would like to poll. uh, yeah, anyone else would like to hear about sarcasm, so that we can have it next month, so you know what you're looking forward to. Can we have a poll
one
for
second,
the next topic?
I need to launch this poll. Give me a minute.
Yeah.
So I've launched the poll, so you guys can vote. So
Yeah.
we're getting yeses. We're getting a couple of yeses coming in.
Okay. Can I say something to the participants, or can you say some one of the two? Which one? I just want to tell them that get more people involved, so we can have a better gathering, so that we have more points to talk about. The more the merrier, right?
Yeah.
So can you share that with the participants, so that they can tell their friends also, and we can make it better.
So let us. So what I plan to do is let's try to have some kind of a mailing list or a WhatsApp group where
Yeah.
everyone is in that. So when we push the message, it receives everyone, and then they can forward it to their friends. Uh, so Ashi, how do you plan to do that? We need contact details.
Yeah, I was thinking the same thing. So the only way it will happen is when people who know people who want help will, come forward and recommend them to join us or whatever. So we've grown steadily over the past few months in numbers. Uh, but yeah, it's important that we also keep it focused to a particular number, because we can't have a huge number of people in.
So let's do one thing, Ashi. I'll create a WhatsApp group and I'll put you in that. You can
Yeah.
share the WhatsApp group link with the participants, and people who would want to join will join the group, and then we can post our regular updates on that. So
Yeah.
that will
And
make it easier, and then they can
See,
invite other people as well.
that, right.
what I have done also is, for example, for this meeting, I had put the link on WhatsApp, and that's how Arun saw it, I think. I had put the link on WhatsApp, so people
Hmm.
who are in my WhatsApp
Yeah,
group,
status.
yeah, in my status I had put the link, so that
Okay.
probably brought you to us. Yeah. So similarly, I will be doing it, and we all can do it. Uh, I mean, the three of us, or even others, can put share the link so we get more people. How does that sound?
Yeah, that sounds great. That sounds great.
Yeah, good. So we shall talk about sarcasm next month.
Right.
Yeah, Dr. Ashi.
Right. Thank you.
Anything
Yeah.
else?
Thanks. Yeah.
So